When you realize this dangerous reason, you realize that social media oftentimes takes more than it gives. It trains us to please people we don't even know. What dangers are there in looking outside of ourselves for our own love? Hello YouTube, Trenzel here for your self-growth, and today we will be talking about how dangerous it can be to share online and the importance of not sharing. When it comes to social media, every like, every share, every affirming comment makes us feel good about ourselves. But every dislike or ignore, say for example, the picture didn't get enough views like it usually gets, it didn't get enough shares like it usually gets. Usually it gets thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, but this time it barely got any recognition. So you feel bad. So likes make you feel good, dislikes or ignores make you feel bad. This puts our self-image in the hands of people we don't even know most of the time. We don't know them, we're not close to them, we're not cool with them. So our entire self-image gets put in their hands, or at least a major portion of it. Therefore, it is through social media that we use it to validate ourselves. We validate our beliefs, we validate our looks, we validate where we stand, we validate our arguments, we validate what we're doing today. If we're going to the gym, we validate that. If we're eating healthy, we validate that. But we're getting validation from people that are strangers to us, not family, not friends, not people that actually care about us. So the problem here is we're putting our validation in the hands of complete strangers. Strangers that don't care about us. This is inherently dangerous because these strangers can be fickle. One moment they like one thing and the next moment they don't. Putting your validation and self-image in the hands of strangers is inherently unstable. So when you do this, you can feel good or you can feel bad. Your emotions are in the hands of these people. Your emotional state and your self-image. If no one ever comments on any of the photos you post, if no one ever says anything on any of the photos you post, no one ever likes anything you post, now you feel terrible about yourself. Maybe you feel like you're ugly. Maybe you feel like what you're doing isn't right. If you get a lot of hate all of a sudden because you have an unpopular comment, these people aren't trying to think, oh, let me use some tact because I like this person. Let me hold off a little bit. Let me try to spare their feelings because I'm considering their feelings. No, they're not considering your feelings. They're just expressing how they feel in their own point of view without any thought to yours. And if it contradicts with yours or makes you feel bad, they don't care. They don't think that through. They just comment. So now you're left feeling bad. And now imagine if you get tens or dozens of those comments or even hundreds of those comments. Now your self-esteem drops to zero. And you know, the only thing worse than getting all that negative attention is getting no attention at all and being completely ignored. And the only way to overcome this is to keep sharing of yourself. These strangers naturally do not have a reason to care about you or your feelings. So it lends well to my next point. You should have things that you keep to yourself, secrets that you keep to yourself, things that you don't tell everyone, things that are personal to you. In the age of social media where we're sharing so much, the importance of not sharing becomes extraordinary because you're sharing and sharing and sharing of yourself to an extent where you don't have any secrets anymore. You could overshare to the point where you don't have any secrets, where they know some of everything about you, where they know things about you that you rather have just kept to yourself. But because sharing is so common now, it's almost a social expectation for you to share. You see your peers doing it. You see your family doing it. You see your friends doing it. So it's almost like you have this peer pressure to share, an expectation to share because everyone else is doing it. But that's not within consideration of your own mental and emotional health. You have to ask yourself, will these strangers' hits of dopamine and validation make me feel better about myself? And if so, for how long? If they give you remember, this is an endless treadmill. If they give you likes and validation and love, if they give you all of that, you'll feel good for all of what? An hour? A day? By tomorrow, you'll need it again. Or in 3 days, you'll need it again. It's an endless treadmill. And if they don't give you it, if they don't give you that validation, that love, those likes, those comments, those positive affirmations to say, oh, you're doing a good job. If they don't give you that, now you're left even more empty than had you not shared at all. You're left between a rock and a hard place. Whereas you get on the treadmill, hoping that people like your pictures. And you can say, well, I don't care. And if you truly don't care, that's a healthy mindset. If you truly don't care, if you're sharing only for yourself, that's much healthier. But it requires you to not be hurt and not care whatsoever about the opinions of strangers and about whether or not they validate you through likes, through comments. It requires you to completely detach from that, from the opinions of strangers, and instead recalibrate your value towards yourself because you value your own opinion, and towards your family and towards your friends perhaps because you value their feelings, because you know them and they care about you. Again, strangers can be fickle. The more you value their opinion, the more power you give to them over your life. How healthy is that? And the thing is, you don't owe social media your life. There's not some rule book out in the universe that says now that social media is out and now that it's popular, you owe it your life. You owe it your attention. You owe it your pictures. I mean, one of my social medias, my Instagram doesn't have many photos of me at all. Doesn't have many shares of me at all. It's just an Instagram that I use every now and again. But it doesn't have much of anything on it at all. Now, looking around at most people's Instagram, that's actually uncommon. Most people that use Instagram, they really do use Instagram. They have tons of photos, tons of videos, tons of everything. And that's exactly what is required in order to become popular on Instagram. That is exactly what is required in order to get the algorithm in your favor. That is exactly what is required in order to get more people to see you. Because if you're not actively engaging, how is Instagram going to push your stuff? It needs consistent engagement. It needs to figure out, okay, what is this person about? What is this person sharing? And who can I show it to? It needs to figure that out. In order to figure that out, you need to post a lot of content. And then you post a lot of content. If you look for validation outside of yourself through likes and subscriptions and all that and follows, and you use those metrics as a gauge for how good you are as a person, you put your identity on those things. Even if you do succeed, you'll just need more the next day. You'll need more the next week. It's a never endless treadmill. You get 1,000 followers, now you want 2,000. You get 10,000 followers, now you want 100,000. It's never ending. A few people like that photo, but a few more people like the other photo. Let me post another one. Oh, this one got the most likes ever. This photo that I posted got the highest amount of likes. That's crazy. I really feel affirmed now. But wait a minute, now all my other photos is like garbage in comparison to that. This one got 10,000 likes. I usually get 1,000 likes. You post another photo, hoping that it gets more likes, gets even close to 10,000. Now that photo got 2,000 likes. It's an endless treadmill with no victory. There was no end point. There is no victory for you to achieve here. It's just shots of dopamine that is temporary, that's transient. When you look for validation outside of yourself, in other people, especially people you don't know, especially people that aren't even your friends, and you look to them for your validation. That is the dangerous trap of social media, one of the most dangerous traps you can fall into. Because it's a never-ending treadmill of people that are fickle and don't care about you anyways. They might like you, but then you say the wrong thing because they don't know you. They don't know you. So all you have to do is just say the wrong thing. Now they don't like you, or they don't like what you said. People are fickle. Even your friends can be fickle and have relationships that don't last forever. So where does that put strangers? There are so many of your friends that don't last forever. Even relationships that you expect to last forever don't last forever. Say, for example, your husband or wife. Some people divorce. Like a good amount of people, in fact. If those relationships can't even be expected to last, when you don't have certainty that they will last, what do you think strangers will do? Of course, if you say the one wrong thing, they're gone. Social media demands more and more of your life and more of your time. It requires more of your life, more of your time. And what does it give you in return? A hit of dopamine that makes you feel good about yourself for a few moments, without any substantial relationships that are long-lasting and stable. And this is what we're chasing. Now, it's completely different if you aspire to be a content creator. It's completely different if you're famous, for example, because now that's your job. You see, so you look at it through a totally different lens. It's no longer about, I want validation, I want to be liked. It's your job. But if you want to stand out on social media, you have to face off against people that it's their literal job to stand out on social media. It's their literal job to make content for the platform. If I made it my job to make content for Instagram, for example, I made that my job to get a lot of followers, so that way I could potentially make money from it, and I could potentially finance my dreams or do what I need to do, or become an influencer in some way. And you were just posting every now and again because you wanted a hit of validation, or because you really liked that photo of you that you took when you were out on the beach last night, or a week ago during the daytime, and you feel particularly sexy. You are competing against me, someone that's been posting much more consistently and has spent hours every day thinking about it and trying to maximize the algorithm. Who do you think Instagram is going to push? And then when they don't push you, you're like, oh my God, I must be terrible. I must be terrible. When in reality, it don't have nothing to do with that. The algorithm isn't emotional. The algorithm doesn't care. It just says, this person posts consistently, this person posts every now and again. This person's post gets more engagement because they know what to post, and they post with knowledge, with careful consideration of what to post. They also post in terms of viral trends. So they use trending music, all this, while your stuff don't have trending anything. So Instagram says, I'm going to push this content. And this person gets 10,000 likes. Now you get 100 likes. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm not as good as this person. Well, guess what? You also don't have a life. At least that's the extreme where this is going, basically. Instagram was requiring more and more of your life. And it's not just Instagram. It's so many other places too. Because mind you, this isn't just about Instagram. The same setup happens in TikTok too. And probably, because I don't use Snapchat, so probably in Snapchat too. Mind you, I'm a person whereas I don't really use Instagram all that much. I don't have Snapchat at all. and I deleted my Facebook. So I'd say that I'm pretty confident in my ability to talk about this topic. You know, you also run the risk of inauthenticity because you create a persona of yourself. Why? Because you're showing off the best versions of yourself, the most trending versions of yourself, the version of yourself that is your ideal self, or at least kind of close to it. You're showing off your life in its most perfect forms, right? In other words, you only post your fun moments. You only post your exciting moments. You only post your best photos. You only post your best side. So think about what happens when people engage with that. And you don't say your most critical opinions or your most divisive opinions. You only state opinions that you feel is going to be in alignment with most people. So what happens when you get likes? When that persona of you gets likes, when that mask of you gets likes, it doesn't feel like you're getting likes. It feels like this entity that you've created is getting the likes. And so you continue to feed that entity, continue to feed that persona, continue to present yourself as that, when in reality, you're not that. And the people online think, well, now I know this person. He or she is a lot of fun, always going out, always shaking the booty, always having a nice time, always laughing and smiling and being beautiful and sexy. And they don't see the times when you don't look good. They don't see the times when you're ugly. They don't see the times when you feel like you're ugly. They don't see the times when you feel insecure. They don't see the times when you don't look good. They don't see the times when you just woke up in the morning, you have morning breath. They don't see the times when you went to that one beach or that one theme park or that one restaurant and you had a horrible time because they just didn't do you right. Or you met the wrong people, or you met the wrong person in the wrong place at the wrong time. And mind you, personas don't have to always be positive. They can also be negative. You could be building a negative persona of yourself. It's all branding. So you could be building a persona of yourself whereas you are the drama queen or you are the drama king. But that's a persona too. Because most drama kings or queens aren't drama all the time. They're drama some of the time. These personas represent only a fraction of your entire personality, the spectrum of your entire personality, not the entire self, not the whole self. So it creates a disconnect between who you really are and the persona that you're presenting online. And that could also be deadly. Think of all the impacts of that happening. If that persona ends up getting millions of followers and is validated, every time you're not in alignment with that, because that's where your value is. Every time you're not in alignment with that, you'll feel like you're a problem. At least that's what I would imagine. I'm highly empathetic after all. When I deleted my Facebook, which I use Facebook, I use Facebook so much. I use Facebook to death. When I deleted it, at first I had the urge to go on. And, I always was sharing something. But I never was a person that really cared about external validation. I was posting just to share of myself. So when I deleted it, after a while, I just didn't care anymore. I just didn't even think about it anymore. I didn't lose anything. The only thing that you might lose is that other people will be like, oh my God, you don't have this? You don't have that? And they'll be so surprised. They'll be surprised that you aren't online. But it's really good for your mental health because now your emotions aren't dependent on strangers. Whether it be to validate you or whether it be something that they posted that upsets you. I saw so many dark sides of social media that I got away from it. And now my emotions are in my own hands and my self-esteem is in my own hands. Not in somebody else's hands. Not in the hands of some algorithm that don't care about me anyways. If I'm going to allow anybody to judge me, I'd rather it be my family and friends and myself Not a bunch of strangers I don't give a damn about. Hello YouTube, I'm Trenzel and I make self-growth content because I believe that becoming your authentic ideal self is a life goal worth pursuing. And if you like this video, check out one of these. I'm in the darkness. I'm in the darkness. I don't like this winter arc. YouTube, this winter arc ain't no good. Let me turn on this light. Oh, is it work? Oh no, the lights. The light ain't working in my car because I had the car off too long. My silly self, I should have made this video earlier. 1 or 2. Bye.